If you've been feeling stuck or feeling out of sync, this month might actually make a lot of sense once you see what's happening in the sky. May has 7 transits that will help you understand how sometimes it is worth waiting for certain cycles instead of changing your strategy. So let's walk through it. May opens with a full moon in Scorpio on May 1st. Full moons are culmination points. Things come to light, things reach their peak. And in Scorpio, what comes to light is usually what you've been avoiding looking at directly. This full moon sits opposite the sun in Taurus. Taurus wants stability, security, the material world to make sense. A Scorpio wants transformation, even if that means everything has to fall apart first. So this full moon asks you, what are you holding on to for security that's actually preventing your growth? And here's the thing that makes this one intense. This full moon squares Pluto, which means the fear of loss is real. The suspicion is real. That feeling of, if I let go of this, what happens to me? That's all very present right now. So if you're in business, this full moon is about shared resources and deep client work. This is when you see clearly what's actually working in your business versus what you've been telling yourself it's working. The clients you do your best work with versus the ones that drain you. This is also about money, but not in a surface level. It's about your relationship with receiving, with charging what you're worth, with letting go of the clients or projects that are financially okay, but spiritually exhausting. Scorpio full moons don't let you keep things just because they are familiar. They ask you to choose what's actually alive and let go of the rest. Then on May 6th, Pluto stations retrograde in Aquarius. And if you don't know what that means, it basically means that Pluto appears to move backward until October. Pluto is a planet of transformation, power, and what's being hidden. Aquarius is the collective, innovation, systems, how we work together. So when Pluto goes retrograde, it's an integration period. All the shifts that have been happening since Pluto entered Aquarius, now you get to go back and actually process them. Then on May 16, we have a new moon in Taurus. New moons are planting seeds, fresh starts, new intentions. And Taurus is all about what lasts, what's real, what you can build on. After that intense Scorpio full moon at the beginning of the month, Taurus arrives to ground everything. This is where you take what you learned, what became clear, and you start building something sustainable with it. Taurus doesn't care about quick wins or viral moments. It cares about what's still landing in 5 years. This new moon is perfect for financial planning, and not the kind where you set goals that you will abandon by June, but the kind where you actually look at your numbers and build a business model that doesn't require you to hustle yourself into exhaustion. This is also when you revisit your offers. What are you selling? And more importantly, can you sustain delivering it without burning out? Taurus asks, is this business built to last, or are you just running on adrenaline and caffeine? If you've been thinking about raising your rates, this is your window. Taurus knows the value of what it brings, and it's not afraid to charge accordingly. The day after the new moon, Mercury enters Gemini. Mercury rules Gemini, so this is Mercury coming home. Your mind gets sharper, communication flows, ideas come faster. Mercury in Gemini is curiosity without the commitment. It's like, let me try this and see what happens energy. It's multiple conversations at once, multiple projects in motion, multiple ideas that all seem equally interesting. This is not a time for deep concentration on one thing. This is the time to explore, experiment, and stay mentally stimulated. Mercury in Gemini is content creation season. If you've been meaning to start that newsletter, record that video, write that post, this is when the words actually flow. This is also networking energy. Conversation leads to collaborations, DMs that lead to opportunities. So you're not trying to close deals right now. You're planting seeds through communication. And if you've been stuck on how to talk about what you do, Mercury in Gemini gives you about 15 different ways to say the same thing until one of them finally clicks. So make the most of that. Then on May 18th, two planets change sign on the same day. Mars enters Taurus and Venus enters Cancer. And the energy shifts in a big way. Mars in Aries was fast, impulsive, ready to go. Mars in Taurus is slow, methodical, built to last. So this is stamina over speed, consistency over intensity. Mars in Taurus doesn't sprint, it builds. It's the difference between launching something in a weekend and building something that's still generating income 2 years from now. This is when you take all those ideas from Mercury in Gemini and you actually execute them. And not in the hustle 24/7 way, but in the show up consistently, build a foundation, trust the process way. Mars in Taurus is perfect for long-term projects. That course you've been meaning to build, the system you've been meaning to implement, the infrastructure that will make your business actually sustainable. You're not going to see results overnight, but you're going to see results that last. And then Venus enters Cancer the same day. And Venus in Cancer is emotional, sentimental, deeply caring. So if you have a business, this is when it starts to feel more personal in a good way. Venus in Cancer is about nurturing your clients and your community, and not in a performative, like engagement strategy way, but in a genuine, I actually care about the people I work with way. So this is when you send the email just to check in, when you create the thing nobody asked for, but everyone needed. And it also brings emotional marketing, the kind that connects to how people actually feel, not just what they think they want. So if you've been writing copy or using AI and then your copy sounds like everyone else's, Venus in Cancer helps you write something that actually sounds like you and to write for someone you actually care about. So this is the perfect time to make sure that all your copy has your own personal touch. Then on May 20th, the sun enters Gemini and tarot season ends. And then the pace picks up. Gemini season is mentally stimulating, socially active, endlessly curious. So you want variety, you want options. You want to learn 10 new things at once. The grounded, slow energy of Taurus is over. Now it's time to communicate, connect, and stay mentally engaged. Gemini season is when you show up everywhere. And not just because you're trying to be everywhere, but because you're genuinely interested in multiple platforms, multiple conversations, multiple ways of connecting. This is also experimentation season. So Gemini doesn't need to know if it's going to work before trying it. And if life has felt heavy or serious lately, Gemini seasons reminds you that it can also be playful. So you are allowed to enjoy. And finally, the month closes with a full moon in Sagittarius on May 31st. And this is actually a blue moon, the second full moon in May. And Sagittarius, it's all about vision, expansion, and what's possible beyond what you can currently see. This full moon sits opposite the sun in Gemini. Gemini focuses on details, facts, information, while Sagittarius, it's all about meaning, purpose, and the big picture. And at the full moon, both sides are illuminated. You can see the details and the vision. You can see what you're doing and why it matters. So this full moon, it's about vision creating. Not the kind where you force yourself to have a 5-year plan, but the kind where you get honest about what you're actually building toward. Where are you going? And not finding an answer in a panicked way, but more like in a curious, expansive way. Sagittarius full moons ask you to think bigger, to consider possibilities you've been too practical to follow through, to remember that the business you're building doesn't have to look like anyone else's. This full moon also asks, what beliefs about business are you ready to release? They believe that you have to hustle to be successful. They believe that if you slow down, you will lose momentum. They believe that your way of doing things is somehow wrong because it doesn't match what everyone else is teaching. Sagittarius doesn't need permission to do things differently, and neither do you. So that's May. Scorpio full moon that shows you what's real. Pluto retrograde that asks you to integrate before moving forward. A Taurus new moon that grounds your next steps. Mercury in Gemini that helps you communicate them. Mars and Venus shifting the way you work and connect. The Sun entering Gemini and speeding everything up. And a Sagittarius full moon that reminds you why you started this in the first place. For your business, here's how I would work with this month. In early May, use the Scorpio full moon to get honest about what's working and what's not. Don't avoid the hard truths. Then mid-May, plant seeds at the Taurus new moon. Financial planning, sustainable offers, pricing that reflects your worth. From May 17 onwards, once Mercury enters Gemini, create content, have conversations, experiment with how you communicate what you do. On May 18, as Mars and Venus shift, commit to the long-term project and reconnect with why you care about the people you serve. At the end of May, let the Sagittarius full moon show you the bigger vision. Where is this all going? And does that vision still excite you? If you've been feeling out of sync with your business lately, if the strategies that used to work don't work anymore, if you're trying to forcing yourself to do things that don't feel natural, maybe it's not you. Maybe you've been just trying to build on a timeline that wasn't yours. May gives you permission to slow down, get honest, and build something that actually lasts. Not because it's a trend, because it's sustainable for you. If you want to understand how these transits affect your life or business specifically, I do birth chart and business chart readings, and the links are in the description below. Thanks for watching.